Welcome to January 2022 Energy Update. My name is Jamie Butler. I am a medium, a trance channeler. I've been doing this work for 30 years, which sounds very odd to say out loud, but it's been a hot second. And today I'm going to be trance channeling a guide of mine named Maitland, who is very childlike, very playful, and very uplifting, kind of a more positive twist and an attitude. So if this is something you enjoy and you want to get to know a little bit more about January's energy, you're in the right place. If you want a full transcript of today's trance channeling, you can head over to my website, jamiebutlermedium.com. Sign up for the newsletter. We send it out once a month, and in it, it will have a full transcript. It'll have a list of classes, meditations, what I'm up to, and it's all done by the great Colleen Ziegler, who is off screen.
Hi, everyone.
There she is. We're doing a sound test. Let us know that you can hear her okay. She'll be helping me today when I trance channel. If you have questions about the content that's coming through, please post it on the thread. If Colleen sees that there needs to be more clarity in what Maitland is sharing, she'll ask the question, and then we can follow through with all of that. But Colleen will post the link to sign up for the newsletter to get the full transcript. And if you really love what Maitland shares and you'd like to know a little bit more, because Maitland will talk about what chakra is being challenged, which one's being needed the most, and which one's being supported the most for the month of January. And she links those over to stones and crystals and aromatherapy and apparently numerology this month. Please, it's like getting too much for me. It's like beyond my wheelhouse. My wheelhouse is just trance channeling the information. I get to at least listen to it afterwards and learn so much, just like you are. But if you want that extra information, every first week of the month, she holds a class here on YouTube under our YouTube membership, which the link below to join the membership is in the description. The link is in the description below. You can click that. It's the second tier and higher. And she goes in depth about what crystal and why, what it's doing, how you can place it, some exercises around keeping your chakras in alignment, especially for the month at hand. Okay, with all of that said, let's do this. Thank you so much for joining me. I love that you're here. Luminaires, you're the best. Okay, everybody, let's take a nice deep breath in. Whether you're watching this live now with me or recorded afterwards, we are connecting our energy. I remove my glasses and my rings and everything so I can get in alignment with trance channeling. For those of you who are sensitive, you'll feel a connection. You might feel a shift in your own energy. If you love it, write it. If you're not enjoying it, maybe you're feeling a little head over feet, kind of a dizzy, or to what I hear some people go, wah, 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 wah. Like their energy feels like this, or they feel too much love or compassion, then go ahead and have something hot on hand, like a little hot water with lemon or tea or coffee, or maybe some chocolate. That'll keep you a little more in your body. If you're practicing seeing, check out the right side of my body between my ear and my shoulder. This is often where that flash of light happens on this side. And with that said, I'm going to check out. I will not see you, so I'm going to say my goodbyes now. Thank you for everything. Please check out, if you love today's messages, please check out Maitland's class, the full transcript, and share it with a friend. Once you're educated and you share it with somebody else, we're all in this together. It just lifts everybody up. Okay. Have fun. You too, Colleen.
Bye, Jamie.
Have fun.
I'll be here when you get back.
Okay, good. Oh my God, I can't imagine coming back and you wouldn't be here.
I would never do that.
It'd be like the worst joke ever. Okay. Here we go. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Maitland.
Hi, Colleen. I feel stiff, like I've been in a box. I know I haven't been in a box. I'm going to get comfortable. I hope everybody else gets comfortable. Let's get prepared. My name is Maitland. I'm 9 years old. I choose to be 9 years old. I don't need to be 9 years old. I do it because I love delivering big information in a very fun and lighthearted way. I think that's what helps people stick with learning more, because if we just deliver it straight to you, you guys could take it as such a doom and gloom and be like, okay, I'm done. That's it. No more. And it's not about that. Yes, energy sensitive is energy sensitive. It's funny. But you need to be able to hold the space for both what you call the positive or high frequency and the low frequency, which is called the negative. The way that you attach yourself to it as good and bad is your own judgment stuff. So I do my best to deliver messages where they're a little bit more entertaining and a little bit more fun, and I align it more to a higher frequency. But that doesn't mean that I don't tell the whole story, because I do. So I love being here. This is one of my favorite things to do is the energy updates. And we're coming into January, and it's a new year, 2022. I never thought we would get to the 2000s. So it's been really interesting to see all the numbers up there like that. 222. Zero is a number, but it's the absence of value. And even the number 222 is going to come into play a little bit later. So I label every month. And this month I call it the itchies. The itchies have begun. If you've been listening, in November 2021, I said it's time to get your seatbelt on. Click, click. And in December, I was like, keep your seatbelt on. And January, I'm going to say, hey, keep your seatbelt on. And I know for some of you, it's not been as rough. And I'm very delighted to hear that news. And for others, the seatbelt is very useful. When you have your seatbelt on, it's simply, I'm saying, stay in your body. Don't go wandering off. Don't start living in the past and living into the future. That's not going to help you anymore. Duality is dying. The yes, no, right, wrong, good, bad, all of that for energy sensitive, higher frequency people like yourselves, the duality is dying. So, January with the itchies, you're going to find in the month of January, not a lot is going to feel comfortable. Now, notice I didn't say horrible or destructive or terrible. I said comfortable. So, I wanted to remember this term, creature. Um, um, what's it called?
I don't know.
When you comforts, creature comforts.
Okay.
That's the word. Your creature comforts that you have might not be available to you as much anymore. So you'll be wearing new routines and wearing new habits, coming away from habits that you have because of its availability. And so you might not be comfortable anymore. So hence the itchies. So January, it looks like a teeter-totter. Remember when November looked like an Oreo cookie? January looks like a teeter-totter. And you're going to start off on one end and it's going to be on the low end. And you think, oh, yes, but soon it'll switch and I'll come high. But it's not. Here's the trick. You're walking the teeter-totter and you get to the middle around the 18th of January. And then you walk down the other end, and what's happening is your weight is constantly keeping it down. I'm sharing this so no matter what you say, think, or do, humans are really funny in the way that you discipline yourself to think a certain way, to get a reward, to be a certain way, to get acknowledged, to think, behave, feel a certain way to get a certain outcome. Like that strategy is not going to work anymore. This is like a control strategy. So here you are thinking teeter-totter, I go up and I go down, but it's not. You're going to move to the fulcrum point in the middle around the 18th. And that is actually going to be a difficult place to be because you have one foot on either side and you can make the teeter-totter go up and down and up and down. So I'm going to ask my first call to action for the itchies in January is around the 18th. If you develop a practice of love, giving love to self, giving love to others, you could think of it as showing immense kindness to self and kindness to others. You could think of it as being compassionate to self and compassionate to others, because this shift on the 18th, globally, so much, like astrologically, because galactically, what's happening right now is there's a vacuum of energy that's pulling away a lot of the excess unusables and frequencies around Earth and in the universe right now. And so it's pulling and shifting the way that you naturally show up in your environment. And that's happening globally on Earth. So many people are going to feel a heightened sense of, I don't feel right where I am. Like my surroundings look strange to me all of a sudden. They don't look like me, they fit like me. So if you are more aware of this fulcrum point in January, and we contribute the kindness, the compassion, and the love around the 18th, we can lessen its shockwave and kind of bring people together, which I would say the tagline for January is no more separation. The itchies have no more separation. You know, it never is a big word, but I'm going to use it. It never feels so easy and comfortable to make change. Change comes with this element of surprise because you're telling yourself, I am going to put on something new, whether it's a thought, an action, or a feeling. I'm going to do something new. And I don't know what the outcome is going to be because I've added this new element in. So change is naturally that way. So the itchies is this application of you getting change into your life. All right. I have to step back and regroup because I want to talk about duality, the death of duality for the higher consciousness centered people. And just saying it out loud probably sounds a little weird, but part of the itchies in January is that you become more self-developed. Your spiritual awakening to energy, to know that you are made up of frequencies and the whole earth is made up of a frequency, and that you can communicate frequency to frequency. It's not about labeling and believing in 3D thought, linear thought processes to achieve a goal. It's not about those old structures anymore. It's about understanding that your beliefs and your thoughts are frequencies, and that is what you are made of, and that's what your environment is made of, and that's what your higher self is made of. And when you're connecting that way, you have a whole new world that's available. The whole new world I'm talking about, a lot of people on earth call it the new earth. That's the whole 5D. So January is just providing a little bit more highlighted, this is uncomfortable, itchy. And you realize, I want these things and I know who I am, but I can't find the outlet in my environment. It's not there because it hasn't been invented, or because it's being hidden. or maybe because you don't understand how to get there yet. And this self-empowering of your psychic ability, of your intuition, of your knowing is getting stronger and stronger, but it's like you can't be it because the environment's not ready for it. It's really rough. So it gets itchy, conflict. And you have to decide that there is going to be a change required. And that change will be maybe you not believing in the system anymore. Maybe you saying, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. And you can say no with kindness and respect. No is a really good word in January. So internally, we're going to feel stronger and more connected. But when we go to express it to be with everybody, it's going to be complicated and muddy and murky. Murky. That's a fun word to say. Murky. Okay. Which is not fun for energy centric people, because some of you who don't have a strong constitution will decide that maybe your worth is not not there, and that you don't need to move forward, and that can get really scary. So if you're having those thoughts, I want you to first think about, if you're having lack of self-worth and self-esteem and confidence, that it's not the I creation, it's the translation of self into environment that's having a really hard time. And we'll feel that more and more come around the middle of January on the 18th. And instead of battling it, instead of addressing it and getting to know it and researching it and coming up with solutions, these are old 3D movements, by the way. I ask that you show it love, kindness, compassion, and then watch what comes from it. This is a time where it's community is very important. Community over competition. We are not separated. We're going to see more and more how we're not separated. Do you know, I mentioned the death of duality, the extremes, how we're going to find ourselves more in the center. And the center is not dull. It's not, you don't get a choice because you're in the middle. The center is just where the viewpoint comes from, the perspective. And then you can color your life with your opinion, and you can color your life with your own judgments. It's totally fine. It's when you start pushing them on others or saying that they're factual, that's when it's not fine. It's not okay. Like what the news is doing right now, it's not okay. The bigger masses, actually, it's not the masses. The bigger news run by a very small percent of mass, they are managing their news based on ratings, based on money, based on greed, based on control. And that's not how energy sensitive people move. And so relying on the news like that's not going to really get you anywhere. It's inconsistent. And that too is going to feel itchy. You know who you are, but the environment, the news is telling you a different story, and it's confusing. So give love, give kindness, give compassion. In last November, this whole galactic shift and energy, the photonic light coming in, there's all these changes that are happening that's much, much bigger than you, that are bringing new frequencies to the earth. And that's going to be encouraging this new movement for a year and a half. And with a new year, it's spectacular because people wake up and they're more likely to just dump the belief systems that don't work and take on new ones because it's a new year. So I really like this time, because people are cleansing their mind and going, okay, this is who I am now, from one day to the other, which you have the power to do that every single day of your life. But you're not. You wait for the end of the year, which at least there's that. But it would be great if you had New Year's Day on the first day of every month, and you thought about what that month will give you and what you can co-create with Start using your daydream skills a little bit better, because in this 1.5 year, which is half of a bigger cycle, the bigger cycle is 3 years, getting you to 2024, of when older systems are breaking down and newer systems are being built, from financial, from medical, from government, from law, rule, from expectations of how to build a house. Really, simple things like that. It's just change. So the first 1.5 years with all this galactic energy and shifts and changes is like a force. It's like the gas. It's just going to make it happen. And then the last 1.5 years is more like the new structures being put into place. And I mention this because you're going to start noticing that there are different layers. I think layers is the best way to say it. When you're looking at the world, I like to think of it like a factory line. You're all working on the same belt, the same product, in the same place, but you're in different stations. And when you're in different stations, it feels like you're in different worlds. Like one station might be, I'm focusing on everything that's 3D, this frequency. I'm focusing on what I'm being taught by others is fact, and that is what I will do, because that's what we're leaving. But there's going to be several beautiful people who choose to anchor that energy. And that's very important, because we need to see where we came from to know how much we've come, how far we've come. If it just completely vanished, if history just completely erased, would it really help us stay more present? Would it help us make choices in the future? Not necessarily. Memories are really, really important. They're like road signs. So we have some that will choose to stay here. Then we have some that are like the wake up teachers, the wakey teachers. And they're like, oh, have you seen this? Oh, I'm very curious. I'm going to ask you some questions you never thought about before. And so you'll come across those people who have this wake up energy, and it's exciting. Did you know? And they'll choose to stay there. They won't change out of that or do anything. And maybe in 2 days they're like, oh, I don't want to be here. I want to be over here in this station. Or maybe in 5 minutes they say, I'm done. Now I'm going to go over to this station. It's nobody's process is going to look the same, and it's definitely not linear. That's the 3D belief. It will appear linear only if you're in that factory position in the 3D. And then the wakey teachers, and then I like them. They're the motivators. They're the cheerleaders. They're the sparks of light. They're real motivators. And then there's going to be those that are going to be holding the 5D possibilities. So they're more entrenched with energy and the understanding of it. And they'll have different religious beliefs. It's not about being spiritual and having a certain God or not a certain God, or a certain amount of money or not a certain amount. Like that is all, that's not necessary. We're talking about people, humanity. And there'll be those who are like, I'm really into the energy, and you're going to hear them talk about it and how they match energies and how they heal. A lot of scientists that are going to hang out here. And then there's going to be those that are just putting it into action. They've risen above all of it. They're not even in a 3D. They don't even have to ask questions anymore. They're in this absolute acceptance of a completely different frequency, and they're living on Earth. And again, all kinds of walks of life, all kinds of economic status. So that old judging the book by its cover, by the words they use, by how they walk, by how they look, all that, that's not going to do you good at all. It's not going to serve you. It's just going to hinder you and confuse you and feed into the itchies of not being in alignment. And it's going to create separation, which January is all about. We are not creating separation. We're putting everything together. You are together. You didn't get where you got today all on your own. You didn't. And now you're going to be able to acknowledge it more. So if we look at the chakras that are going to be supported, needed, and challenged for January, the one that's going to be challenged the most, it's a flip-flop, because in December it was being supported and now it's going to be challenged. That's the higher consciousness chakra. It's the white one above the purple one on your head. It's that bridge and like deep faith into higher self and higher conscious self. And so this one is going to be challenged a lot. And the one that's going to be needed the most is going to be your earth chakra, and that's at the bottom of your feet. It's like a brownish black, and it's going to be needed the most, not just because of its grounding techniques, but because of its harmony with who you are. This is you. You have to touch yourself. Who you are and your environment. And your earth is your environment. And so the chakra that connects you to the earth the most is the one at your feet. Much needed. And I'll go back over this. And the one that's going to be supported the most is the third eye, the intuitive. Because I said in January, your psychic abilities are getting stronger, your intuitive knowing. You start to see with your own eyes without second guessing. You'll start to see if others are being truthful. You'll start to see if they're moving from their compassion. You'll start to be aware if it's a manipulation and a power control. You'll start to see these tactics and go, oh, I'm not about that. I don't want to do that. In the past, I would have, but not now. Because your inner self is so much stronger. It's that translation of inner to outer that's having a bit of a trouble in January. So the stones that and the crystals that I would pair to help with the energies in January, I would use apostolite. It looks like this. For the higher chakra, the higher consciousness chakra. And apostolite is all about balancing energy. It's all about harmony. It's really good with masculine, feminine, positive, negative, right and wrong. Those dualities we were talking about, it takes them and it goes home and it brings them into the center. And that's the very thing that you're doing in January. So I think it's very important. You can do smaller apostolates. I would grid my bed with this. Absolutely. I would carry it with me or I would set it on my desk. Wherever I spend the most time, I'd want to spend the most time with the apostolite because this being challenged and having that balance between inner and outer, that's the struggle. Apostolite will really help with that deeply. It's got a really sweet vibration and energy. Some of you might have it in your orbit and go, I don't even feel it. And then others, you might keep it and it will soften your edges. And you won't find your mind wandering into extremes, yes and no's, or vicious cycling. It'll just kind of get a little bit more softer and you'll just go, tell me more. I don't know. People are like, what do you mean you don't know? You always know. You're like, tell me more. I don't know. And then for your earth chakra, the one that's being needed the most, I would use Mauryan smoky quartz. It's darker than traditional smoky quartz because you can't really see through it, and it's Lemurian. It has the ridges on the side. You can find these at special dealerships, but if you can't find the Mauryan, I would use smoky quartz. This is also a good grounder and harmonizer and balancer. But it has this way of kind of nursing away, kind of like a feeder fish in a fish tank, and it just kind of eats all the gunk that you don't need anymore. The Mauryan smoky quartz does it as well. It will just kind of gently nurse away what you don't need because we don't need any big punches. No more punches in January. This is really okay, I'm getting a lot of opportunity to show kindness and love and compassion, and I'm learning a lot about myself, and my abilities are getting really strong. And so we want to support that as well with the Morian, and it will do that. And then if you have solidite, where'd it go? You would use that for the third eye. It's a softer stone. It doesn't just scream at your third eye, wake up. But if you're already really open and truly sensitive to the energies coming through, so much so that you're having and expressing emotions that aren't yours and they're coming more from the global experience, you could use sunset solidite, and it has the orange veins in it. Can you see it if I do it like that? It has the orange in it, which will help the sacral chakra, which is your emotions, come in and balance the third eye and the sacral. Because we're getting so much support, you're going to find that you're processing a lot of information that normally wasn't accessible to you. Your psychic feelers, which is in the truth, it's your energy field. Your energy field is getting bigger and bigger. So when you're in a 3D world, energy field, probably 3-4 feet away from your skin, and that's how far it goes. And you keep it really under control because, you're separate from everybody. That's a very 3D thing. When you're expanding your awareness and your consciousness into higher frequencies, your energetic field, easily 9 feet, like 9 feet from your body out. And all of a sudden, when it's out that far, you have access to more information. Now, don't think linearly. When I say 9 feet out and you measure 9 feet, and then you go, oh, I'm getting more information because I'm 5 feet further than what I was. I want you to think 9 feet out is not just 9 feet, it's also 9 feet into other dimensional planes. It's not just a physical measurement, it's also a dimensional measurement as well. Gosh, I hope that's making sense. I would use solidite around my bed as well as the Moraine smoky quartz and the apostolite. You wouldn't necessarily need your black tourmaline and selenite this month around your bed. I would just put those three on each corner of your bed so it makes a square. And if you're feeling like you really need to be more protected, like you need more calm or you just need more holding, then I would put a set above your bed so it makes a pyramid and you can be in the pyramid. That's called gridding. And I like to do it around your bed because you're calm and you're accessing your subconscious. And these vibrations from your stones will play well with your subconscious. It's all about increasing your intuitive and about how your confidence can translate from inside to outside, because that's going to be the rough point in January.
Maitland, can I ask you for some clarity on something?
Yeah.
So beforehand in Jamie's meditation, she thought she heard sodalite, but I'm hearing you say solidite.
It's sodalite.
Sodalite. Okay. I just wanted clarity because I had typed up sodalite and that's what I thought was meditated on. Okay. So sodalite. Thank you.
Thank you. So many pronunciations. I got my brain. I've got Jamie's brain.
Because I think there actually is a solidite.
Sodalite.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's like an indigo blue with a white vein in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then for aromatherapy this month, remember how I said the numbers 222 will come into play? I would suggest 2 drops of lavender, which is great. Lavender is like great for everything. It's a calming agent. It provides a lot of peace. It also helps with communication and being heart-centered. And I would do 2 drops of cedar wood, which is your earth chakra or your root or base chakra. And it does a lot with grounding, but it does a lot with community, especially with family. Think about all the cedar trees together in a family in a pod. So the cedar wood. And then I would make a choice. Do you need that comfort like in the pyramid? Do you need to be held more because your emotions are really sensitive and you just need some more patience with life? Then I would do 2 drops of chamomile. If you're like, I'm fine, I'm a warrior, I like it when it's like this, it challenges me so much and I get really excited about it, then I wouldn't do 2 drops of chamomile, I would do 2 drops of lemon. And that makes 2, 2, 2, which is a huge, powerful spiritual number. And it's all about spiritual growth, balance, and harmony, which is what apotholite does for you, which is what the Moorian smoky quartz. So all of this is coming together. So if you're someone who really loves chakra focus, you now know which chakras to lean into. If you're someone who is more stone focused, now you know your stones. If you're aromatherapy, you know that. If you're numerology, now you know that. I do want to say one more thing before I sign off, though.
Absolutely.
So we're starting this 1.5-year cycle of a lot of, I guess, power up to make it itchy so that we create change. This is like the strike on the match, the abrasiveness of the flint to make the fire that creates the change. And some people really enjoy this. And some people just fall apart. We're all different. Remember, we're at different stations, but we're in the same factory. We're in the same belt line. Like we are together. So when you're going through this 1.5 years of friction, and we're already starting off this month, this year with like the itchy feeling, I would like you to have a go-to practice, kind of as common as you brush your teeth and as common as you wash your hair, as common as you eat. I would like for you to have a very common practice of daydreaming. And it's not like a meditation. Daydreams can be done anytime, anywhere. And it's not meant to distract or take you away from your life. We had a really good talk about daydreams a little while ago. But it's so, I was trying to remember where it was, if it was on Learn It Live or if it was on YouTube. But I can't remember, so I apologize.
I think it was on Learn It Live.
It was on Learn It
Yeah.
Live. It was in the class, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I can't remember which one though.
See?
So we're in that together. But it was recent. It was like within the past month. Yeah.
It was this month, and just
Yeah.
it was So this kind of daydream provides just a slight bit of escapism from where you are, but it's empowering your ability to create new frequencies that you haven't experienced yet. And this whole 1.5 years is going to be giving you experiences you haven't had yet. But you don't have to wait for the cause and effect, for the cause of your environment to affect how you're going to respond. You can, as an energy sensitive, focus on the daydream to create that situation. And I'm not talking to go into low frequency daydreams. I want you to practice going into high frequency daydreams. Higher frequency daydreams, some of you might say it's where everything favorable happens to you, or it's where you're completely healed. It's where you are achieving the goals that you already had. It could be about yourself. It could be about the environment globally, universally. But I want you to lean into that because you are creating that and you are making it a frequency that you'll then be able to go back and use. But if you don't engage your brain this way, then you are going to be playing a 3D game with life, waiting for the cause for you to be affected. We don't have to have a cause to create effect and change. We can manifest it within our daydream state. Was that clear?
Yes, it was to me. Does anyone need any clarity on that? It looks like it was clear.
Yay! I hope a lot of you are excited about the new year. 2022 is bumpy, definitely requires the seatbelt, but it's more of excitement like you have on a roller coaster rather than disappointment or pain like you would have in a car accident where you hoped you had your seatbelt on. So may that sit with you and get excited about the journey of making the new earth. Again, when you get itchy, love, compassion, kindness. Practice it heavily for January. And it's going to change in February. Okay. If you want to know more about the stones and chakras and what to do with them and why I picked those, you can join me on class January 6th on YouTube. It's in the YouTube membership. It's part of the package that you get when you're a member. And I'd love to see you there. And with that said, I will see you later, alligators.
Well, crocodile.
I'll see you soon, baboon. This is the fun part.
We have lots of
This
thank yous
is-
coming in.
You're welcome. This is where it's time to play. If you don't choose to take care of yourself and play, who's going to do that for you?
Amen.
No one. That's why animal companions are important. They won't do it for you, but they are the best reminders. They are number one reminders of like, come on, let's do something different. Come on, let's play. Come on, don't be there. Don't do that. Don't come over here. So may there be a huge adoption increase for January 2022 for the animals who need new families. Bye.
Bye, Maitland. Thank you so much.
Bye.